Oh, is this a bad idea? I'm hanging with two of my oldest friends, Buzzy and Stork. We don't need to use real names here. And they came to visit me out at the beach. We haven't seen each other in a few years. We met when we were 18 years old at Geneseo. We were in the same fraternity.
Of course, there was no hazing back in the day.
We're allowed to say that.
We are?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay.
I bragged that our pledging was insane. And we went through it before they really started trying to make it safe, I guess.
My pledging really consisted of playing on a basketball team, drinking a few beers, and singing a few songs. Was your pledging different than mine?
Well, that's what I was hoping it was going to be, too. I'm like, hey, man, I'm in Geneseo. I'm young. They're telling me, you join a fraternity and you get to hang out with sororities and have, beer keg parties. I'm like, yeah, I'm all in. Next thing you know, I'm shoving fucking marshmallows up my ass. I'm like, this is not what I signed up for. I just want to be hanging around a keg with a red cup.
So
you want to talk about bait and switch?
So the marshmallows is no exaggeration, but to accurately set the scene. You had a room, you had a pledge who was blindfolded, most likely with a maxi pad taped over their eyes. And in order to facilitate the transaction, one had to strip down and pick up a marshmallow with their cheeks. And I'm not talking about the cheeks up here, I'm talking about the cheeks down there. And navigate over to a pan or a can and drop it in.
And the brothers, they were so nice because they would guide you. They would help you out.
Right.
You need to waddle a little to the left. You need to waddle back to the right.
And then
You're over the target.
Bombs away. You spread the cheeks a little bit and boom, there goes the marshmallow. In essence, bombing the promo house.
And people are like, well, but what happens with pledging for real, to get serious for a second, you realize when you commit and you pledge a fraternity, and then you start to do this. Let's be honest, it's a bit on the gay side. But you're like, the alternative is you can't really quit.
You can't quit.
So you're kind of stuck.
You're invested in completing the task.
Remember the guys that quit pledging when we were at Geneseo? They were chased out of school. And I'm not. Our fraternity did it and other fraternities did it. They took it that seriously. If you quit pledging, they're like, oh, no, man, now you know some of these secrets. And they would make their life on campus a living hell to the point some of the people had to transfer.
Yeah. It was a strong Greek community.
Right. Yeah. We should tell a couple more pledging stories.
Well, so
I hate that you were in when we pledged.
Yeah, that was
because
great.
You always will have the upper hand here.
Yeah, or else I had the upper hand when I was shoveling shit on you in Hell Night.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
I believe that night I was probably playing basketball.
I don't think so.
I was called into GSU. They really needed me to fill in for a little shift. I was playing some rock and roll when that was going down.
I think I have a picture of myself with a shovel with you sitting crisscross applesauce style in the middle of the basement floor with a maxi pad taped over your face as I was shoveling shit onto you. Yep, I got it.
See, the people that don't really know Buzzy, like he's been on my shows over the years and Fred has been on a little bit. We don't doubt you. Me and Fred do not doubt you.
I have a picture.
He came. Do you really?
I do have a picture. Yes. I'm posed with fraternity colors on with the shovel. And you can see the poor young lads sitting, again, crisscross applesauce on the floor, just waiting for something to get flung their way. I have a picture.
Am I actually in the picture?
It's hard to tell with everyone has a maxi pad over their eyes. I might have to look for that feathered red hair. That might be the giveaway.
Oh, I had terrible mousy red hair and a shitty mustache. And I try to tell my wife when she sees old pictures and videos, I'm like, no, man, it was the style back then.
It was the Pretty in Pink style. Yes, it was. Right. It was the Breakfast Club style. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Of course, this would be. It lingered 10 years after those movies came out in the mid '80s.
Let me ask both of you this. So, what do you think was the worst thing we had to do as pledges?
Wow.
I got one, and maybe I could start, and then if you think you could beat it,
yeah, you go.
So now, I mean, when you go to a college, they're really strict, and it's really back to drinking a few beers and getting like the brothers a candy bar and stuff, more or less. But there was a time, man, when we went to school, and a lot of guys can relate to this. It was scary. Remember the time, they said come up to the house, and we come up for a pledge meeting, and then all of a sudden like, tonight we're having a party. Hey, here, Buzzy. They give us all red cups with beer, and we're drinking beer. Hey, have a shot of tequila here. We're just partying tonight. You guys got a day off from the horror that is pledging. And we all bought into it, like, hey, here's some marijuana. Who you smoke? Come on, have a few. And other things, right? And then all of a sudden, everyone's buying it, and we're having fun. And now we're getting cocky. Like, now we can talk to the brothers in a way that maybe we normally wouldn't. And they're just writing notes the whole time behind our backs. And then next thing you know, they stop the music cold, and then it's the turn where they're screaming in our fucking faces. They tackle all of us, I think. Trying to remember this. You're nodding, okay.
Yep.
Then they blindfold you, so now you're fucked up. I could speak for myself. I remember being very high and very drunk, and they're throwing us in cars. You don't even know what car you're in. You don't know who's driving. You're with two other brothers, and next thing you know, they take you for a ride.
And you are going out somewhere in Livingston County in the Finger Lakes region of upstate New York and marching far into a field.
And you got to remember, before cell phones, they took our wallets and money. They made sure we had no money, no wallets. Obviously, cell phones weren't a thing back then. And they would drive us, depending on how much they liked you, which is key. And where I was dropped off, I figured out over the years they sort of liked me. Other guys got dropped off a little closer, and other guys got dropped off close to Canada, right?
I forgot about that. You are not. You are not lying. The goal for the majority of these circumstances was for everyone to get back to the in between before closing time, because the mother hen still wanted all their chickens to come home that night, but the path to getting to that point by 1:59 a.m. was littered with story upon story upon story.
And the pledge master would be in the back of the in-between just nervously drinking, like praying everyone was going to come back, because it was pretty intense. And then when I was a brother and we did it to the pledges below us, when that pledge came running into the in-between, it was truly a party, and everyone did know, like, all right, you just went through some shit. Congratulations, you made it back before closing. Here's a picture of Alabama Slammers. Thank you, Basher.
But, it's in hindsight, I didn't realize this at the time, but the brothers specifically would pair you up with another pledge brother that you weren't already close to.
Right.
I mean, there might be a pledge brother who lives on the other side of campus that, you weren't from the same hometown, you weren't from the same high school, you didn't play on the same sports team, you weren't the same major, you kind of barely knew them. But by putting you in this unknown circumstance in the middle of a field, in the middle of nowhere, you two had to bond quickly.
The one thing we all were, though, white! I'm just kidding.
Yes. But wasn't there something where if you did beat back some of the brothers, they were supposed to buy you drinks all night? Is that accurate?
Oh, I don't remember, man.
But I got to tell my story. So, went through this blindfolded, drove for a while, but they were even screwing around, just driving in circles.
Yep.
Just so in your head, you're like, wait, I know that left. Okay, I know where I am now. Oh, wait, they took a right. Okay, all right. Oh, I think we went about a mile. I think we're kind of near the courthouse.
You could keep up for about a mile.
And then all of a sudden, it was like, you're buzzed. And you're like, oh, forget it. So then they take us out of the car. The first thing I remember was just nothing. No noise. Nothing, not even crickets, because I think it was like early spring, right? So everything's still dead up there. Yeah. And they march us, and now I'm like, wow, we're marching in the middle of a fucking field, and we march, and I know they're not putting us in circles. They're trying to get us in the middle of this field, maybe a quarter mile out, and then they lean down. We all had to sit back to back, right?
Yep, back to back.
Oh my! I haven't thought of this stuff in a while.
You looked like a hostage.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden they lean down. They're like, okay, count to 100. And then you could take the blindfolds off, because they want time to run out of the field, get in the car, so we can't figure out where the car's going, right? And so
You're blindfolded. You're counting backwards from 100, slowly.
But like I am today, I was always a wise ass. So around 90, counting backwards to 1, I'm like, guys, there's no way they're still here. I heard them. I heard their voices. They're in the distance. I heard them walking off. There's no way. And then I'm like, if we take our blindfolds off now, we know the direction of the car. At least we have a head start on where we have to go, right? And everyone was in agreement. And me and you weren't doing this together, Fred.
No.
And then I remember taking the blindfold off and getting screamed at as the brothers,
Put that blindfold back on, puke! Count backwards from 500 now!
and now I'm scared shitless. I put the blindfold back on, and I think it was 500. And I think we even counted from 1,000 just to be extra safe. And all the guys are looking at me, you son of a bitch. They're elbowing me as I'm going 432, 431. And all I hear is, you're a fucking asshole. And when we get through this, blah, 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 blah. And then I take the blindfold off, and we are in the middle of nothing. And you could see just lights from some distant town in the horizon, but you don't know which town it was.
And you're in the middle of some alfalfa field.
Right.
Without ID, without anything, and it's time to stick out the thumb and make your way home.
Yeah, we all hitchhiked, and I remember it was pretty damn cold, and we got in the back of stereotypically, we got in the back of a pickup truck, and they drove us all the way back to Geneseo. Our experience wasn't that bad after that. We did get back pretty good. Do you remember any of the pledging stories? Can anyone beat that?
No, but that story, we actually did beat the brothers back into the... All the brothers are supposed to be back, or they were supposed to buy drinks. And we were really far. We were about 25 miles away, because one car went by, said, no, turn around, and then another car came by, and the guy goes, I just happen to be going to bar in Geneseo. I'll give you a ride right there. We drove us right up, and I just remember a Steve A. and Al P. looking like, what are you guys doing here already? But we didn't get our drinks paid for.
Sorry, man. I don't think you needed any more that night. They gotten everybody pretty warmed up before the car ride.
Yeah.
Boo, 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 boo. Boo, 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 boo. Boom, 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 boom. Boo, 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 boo. Boo, 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 boo.